Right, here we are. I'm sat on the floor because I want to show you how I store my Skylanders collection. I use one of these drawer tub thingies at the moment, and I have them arranged like so. I have the cores that I use. I have in this one the superchargers, the minis, and the Eons Elites. In this drawer, I have the Trapmasters and the Giants. Lovely, lovely. And in the bottom drawer, I have my Senseis. I also have this drawer here, which contains a lot of random stuff, but it also contains my miscellaneous figures. So we have the magic items, a chaos trap, the adventure packs, we have the vehicles, and we have creation crystals. So what else do we have? We have my trap tray, which is over in a corner by the sofa, and stored separately in my desk we have the spares, which is a Skylander variant that I already have a figure of. So you can see Series 2 Gilgrunt, Snapshot, Dark Golden Queen. I already have a Dark Snapshot or a regular Golden Queen or a Series 4 Gilgrunt. So these figures I'm not using super regularly, which is why they're in separate storage. But let's get into the collection. Right, let's start with the cores. So, Series 4 Gilgrunt, an interesting figure. Series 4 Gilgrunt. Gilgrunt is the only figure that has a Series 4. Activision really love this guy, and you know what, so do I. Fear the fish. Hashtag fear the fish. Gilgrunt also got a supercharger. So, you know, that's 5 variants of Gilgrunt. He has a few chase variants as well. One that sticks out to me is the green Gilgrunt that came with Xbox 360 consoles. But Series 3 Gilgrunt is a very, very cool figure, and I'm glad that I own the only Series 4 Skylander to exist. What else have we got in here? Lightcore Warnado. How cool. Wrecking Ball. A cute Spyro's Adventure Skylander. And as you can see underneath here, I haven't taken off the price tag. I got this for $1.95 at a charity shop in Hucknall, which is here in Nottinghamshire. So shout out to the Lighthouse charity shop in Hucknall, where I also got a bunch of creation crystals and some other stuff like this guy. So that was a great trip, and that was worthwhile to go on that charity shop run. One of my favourite Skylanders is this one right here, Roller Brawl. I just think she's super, super cool. The undead skater gimmick with the vampiric kiss power. It's great. I do actually prefer the Bone Bash Roller Brawl though, over the original variant. We'll get onto that when we get to the superchargers. But let's look at some of the guys that I have picked out. Now, you guys who know your stuff will know that this guy right here, Royal Double Trouble, is quite the rare figure. It's a variant of a variant, I suppose. You've got Series 1.5 Double Trouble, which some people consider a chase variant. It's regular Series 1 Double Trouble's pose, but it has a Skylanders Giants base, and the game treats it as Series 2 Double Trouble, hence Series 1.5. This Double Trouble, Royal Double Trouble, is a coloration of 1.5 Double Trouble, so I suppose it's an in-game variant of a chase variant, so that makes it the ultimate variant, if you ask me. And it's also a pretty rare figure, and I'm very, very glad that I have it in my collection. Some other in-game variants that I think are pretty cool. We have Kickoff Countdown, I think that's the name. He's a football that's a bomb. That's amazing. I'm a big fan of football. I support Notts County. Come on, you pies. This guy is pretty epic. We have also the legendary variants like Legendary Jetvac and Legendary Slam Bam. Oh, scary. One thing I don't like about this figure in particular is before you unlock the armour, it is just a bluish black gorilla with 4 arms. It's not the most interesting, so definitely make sure that you get the armour as soon as possible. We also have Punch Pop Fizz in here, which is an amazing variant. It's one that only came with the 3DS starter packs, I think, so I hope my facts are correct. I like the colour red, so this is my go-to Pop Fizz. Here's a quick skim of these guys. We've got another light core down there. But let's look at some of these other guys down here. We've already looked at Royal Double Trouble. Rocky Roll. Rocky Roll is one of my favourite core Skylanders from Trap Team. Often in Trap Team, the core Skylanders are overlooked, and this one is another duo Skylander. Much like, if he's in here, where is my boy? Right Rider. So, duo Skylanders is where it's actually 2 characters in one. So you got Rocky and Roll. I hope I got that the right way around. And yeah, this is a cool little guy, and I really like him, and I like his playstyle. It's a lot of fun, and as I say, he's a cute little guy, and coming from a mining town myself, I can appreciate the mining aspects of the little miner's helmet there. We also have Wind Up. Wind Up, I think, is another really cool core Skylander. I like that he's got a little lock-on mechanic, and I like his winding up mechanic. I think he's a lot of fun, and that's one of the things I really love about Skylanders. Not only do you get to collect all of these neat little figures, to me, the variations of the movesets, how varied they are, really does feel like you're getting a completely different game for each character you get. So something like this Wrecking Ball, which I bought for £2 in a charity shop, that's almost like £2 on a brand new game. I know it's not really, and some people argue about how it is essentially the same as microtransactions but in a physical form. But to me, the magic of having the figure, placing it on the portal, and it coming to life in the game, and each one having a completely different moveset, that magic to me is worth it, and that's why I love this franchise. I love Toys to Life games, and I love all of these little fellas. How can you not love this face? Some favourites of mine as well. Whamshell. Whamshell is a character that I desperately wanted as a kid playing Spyro's Adventure, but this guy was nowhere to be found. Fast forward to me as an adult, I can buy him, and I did, and I now own Whamshell, and I made sure to completely maximise this guy, get all the upgrades that I could, and get him to the max level when I was playing Imaginators, and now I can embrace the mace. Another interesting one is Sunburn, the only Skylander from Spyro's Adventure not to get another re-release at all. This is the only figure, Series 1 Sunburn, it's the only Sunburn figure that exists. So people talk about the Forgotten 8, which is the 8 core Skylanders from Spyro's Adventure that did not return in Giants. Sunburn is the ultimate forgotten core from Spyro's Adventure because he never got any love after that game. And I don't really know why, because he's a decent little fella. I also have another rare figure here, Echo, which has fun sound-based attacks, got that punk rocker vibe. I really enjoy Echo, I think she's a lot of fun. And I also have High Five, which, again, another core from Trap Team. So that's that tray put back. Let's now go through tray number 2. So tray number 2 is a bit of a jam-packed mix bag. We have our drivers here, the Supercharger Skylanders. We have our swappers in here. We have our minis, and we have our Eons Elites. So let's go through some of these figures right now. So let's start with some of the Supercharger Skylanders. We have 2 of the legendary Superchargers here. My absolute favourite Skylander, at least at the moment, legendary Bone Bash Roller Brawl. Or just Bone Bash Roller Brawl in general, but the one I'm using the most at the moment is the legendary variant. I absolutely love this character. I love how she plays, I love her entire personality, I love the look, I love everything about her. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I also want to talk about Greed. 5 variants. Of course, this variant has a completely different moveset to Series 1, 2, 3 and 4 Gilgrunt, but here he is. The 5th Gilgrunt. Greedy. Legendary Astroblast is a character I was playing as a little bit more recently. I do have the regular Astroblast as well, but I'm playing as this guy at the moment. I think he's a lot of fun. I like the colour scheme of the legendaries in Superchargers. I like how they swapped the dark blue for more of a black, which I think paired with the gold looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, I have these 2 guys, which are also 2 of my absolute favourite Skylanders of all time. We have Turbocharged Donkey Kong and Hammer Slam Bowser. How amazing is it that we can play as 2 of the most iconic characters in gaming in one of my favourite gaming franchises of all time on what is one of my favourite consoles of all time. Hashtag Wii U gang. Wii U is the best console, and obviously these guys right here you can only play as on the Nintendo console. So that's the Wii U version of Superchargers, Superchargers Racing on Wii, Superchargers Racing on 3DS, and Imaginators on Wii U and Nintendo Switch. Let's also look at some of the swappers. We have the legendaries, again, with the black and gold colour scheme in Swap Force. Looks absolutely fantastic. I love the legendary figures. What I don't love is this guy right here. I bought this guy from Cash Exchange CEX in Nottingham, and you know, I thought, wow, what a cute little guy. Absolutely love the look of this guy. And then I pop him onto the portal, play as him for a bit, fully upgrade him, and get him the obsidian armor upgrade, and it just completely ruins the look of him. So yeah, reset your guy. Can't remember his name. It's gone. It's completely gone. But what I completely hate is upgrades that completely change the look of your Skylander. So whenever I play as this guy, I just don't get that upgrade, which makes me feel like I'm missing out, which I hate. But I do love his design otherwise. I think he's a cool looking rock dude. And we have He Was a Skater Boy. Let's also look at my collection of minis. So before I go on to show the whole minis collection, I wanted to sort of compare these two guys right here, just to show off what the minis really are in concept. So we have Trigger Happy. This one specifically is the Eons Elite Trigger Happy, and we have Trigger Snappy, who's the mini version. Now, these guys started off as sidekick figures back in Spyro's Adventure. So, if you have a Trigger Snappy with a green base, that's the sidekick version. And this will also work as a sidekick if you scan it in to Spyro's Adventure. But what a sidekick essentially is just a magic item. It follows your Skylander around as a sidekick. So you could have Trigger Snappy as a sidekick to Trigger Happy. Trap Team onwards, they started making these guys as minis, so you could actually play as them, and they have pretty much an exact copy of the moveset of the Skylander that they're based on, which I absolutely love these guys. I think they're so cute and cool, and they're a fun little side piece to collect as well, even if some of them are ridiculously expensive. I'm looking mainly at you. Yes, I have Breeze. Another one that's good to show for comparison. So I'm jumping the gun a little bit by grabbing one of my giants, but I really wanted to show the contrast when you have a giant and a mini that's based on a giant. So we have Thumpback right here, Hail to the Whale, and we have Thumpling right here, Hail to the Whale. Yeah. Now, Thumpback has this big anchor chain, has a lot of range. Thumpling doesn't have a lot of range, even though he has the same moves. I still think this guy is absolutely adorable though, and I love playing as him just because, I don't know, I like cute things, I guess. But yeah, Thumpling and the minis in general, great Skylanders. Let's have a quick look at all of them that I have. Starting with the tech element, Trigger Snappy, and Drobit. And again, Drobit, absolutely adorable. Look at this little guy. I love him. I love all of these guys. The water element, we have Thumpling and Gill Runt, which, again, another variant of Gill Grunt. Greed. The earth element, we have Terrabit, I think is his name, Terrafin's mini, and Bop, who is Bash's mini. Again, look at how adorable this little guy is. How can anyone not like this adorable little face? And then we have the undead element. We have I Small and Hijinks, I think her name is, the mini of Hex. And then if we go all the way over here, the absolute pinnacle of the minis, Breeze, who is the rarest mini and one of the rarest figures in general. Definitely one of the more sought after ones for many Skylanders collections. And I have her, and I'm very glad that I do. I absolutely love this figure. I am a big fan of Whirlwind. Mainly, when I think of Whirlwind, I think back to playing Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure, and Giants as a kid with my younger brother, Lord Efiano. His favourite Skylander was Whirlwind, and he would play as Whirlwind all the time. So having the mini for Whirlwind, it's like having a mini of my younger bro's favourite Skylander. It definitely is that. That is exactly what it is. I also wanted to quickly go through my collection of Eon's Elites, which I only have 6 of in total, but I wanted to go through them anyway, just to sort of show you guys what I have. So I've got Boomer, Stealth Elf, Chop Chop, Dino Rang, Trigger Happy, and Spyro. Speaking of Spyro, I absolutely adore this Eon's Elite Spyro figure. I think the paintwork on this is the best that Spyro has looked in figure form for Skylanders, and I don't think there's a better Spyro figure in the series than the Eon's Elite variant. And that can be said for, I think, most of these guys, really. Trigger Happy, I think, makes the most sense when he has the gold underneath him. No gold, no glory, as he would say. I love what they started doing in Superchargers, where they, instead of just using the old moulds for the Skylanders with updated paint, which, as I said, does look incredible anyway, they started giving them new moulds, and I have 2 of these guys, which is Eon's Elite Boomer with his nice glittery bombs and again the gold gears like on Trigger Happy. But my absolute favourite figure, I think, in the series has got to be Eon's Elite Dino Rang. So I spoke about how my brother Lord Efiano, his favourite Skylander when we were playing Skylanders as kids, was Whirlwind. Mine was Dino Rang. I absolutely loved, and I still do love, Dino Rang. I nicknamed mine Rango, and obviously when I saw this figure, I had to get it. I knew I needed the Eon's Elite Dino Rang, and so I got it. And it's incredible. I love how they gave him a bigger tail. I love how he's got the fully upgraded boomerangs. This is the figure that Dino Rang deserves. My favourite boy, come rang or shine, #WeU gang. Who could hate that face? Dino Rang. So that's draw number 2, done and dusted. So let's have a look through draw number 3. So we have all 8 giants. So we have Crusher, Bouncer, Hothead, Ninjini, Eyebrawl, Tree Rex, Swarm, and Thumpback. Now, Tree Rex, I do have the gnarly version up in the extras storage, which is the more rare figure, but I actually prefer the design of just the regular old Tree Rex. I think this is one of the perfect character designs of all time, and you know, I can't wait to get Barkley to add to the mini collection, because Barkley is also an absolute perfect design. Speaking of variants, Legendary Bouncer, Granite Crusher, also two incredible figures. I have these guys as my go-to giants, but I do have the regular Crusher and the regular Bouncer, and as I said, the gnarly Tree Rex. Don't have Scarlet and Genie, but that is definitely one to add to the collection. And then we have the Trapmasters. So, another really cool design, I think, is Dark Snapshot. Sort of reminds me of Toothless from How to Train the Dragon, that black, scaly look. I think he looks really cool, really intimidating, and he looks great in the game as well. Another really cool Trapmaster to me is this guy right here, Enigma. He has an invisibility gimmick, which is also seen in the figure, where halfway down the figure becomes sort of transparent, which is very, very cool. An interesting story behind this guy right here. I was in Cash Exchange buying Skylanders, and you know, as you do, you go over to the counter, you say, "Oh, can I look through your Skylanders, please?" They were like, sure. And I grabbed this guy because I didn't yet have him in my collection, Senor Bushwhack right here. And I asked the person at the counter, I said, "How much for this one right here?" And they said, "Oh, that's £1. And I was blown away. I was like, £1 for a Trapmaster? Yes, absolutely. I will take that home. Thank you very much. You're coming home with me. So that's what I did. I bought it. When I got home, I took a look at the receipt, and I immediately understood what had happened. So Bushwhack is not worth £1 at all. On the receipt, they charged me for a Food Fight figure. Now, Food Fight comes with the Trap Team starter pack. He is worth about £1. So I got this guy for an absolute steal, really, an absolute bargain. Thank you, CEX worker, for the £1 Bushwhack. I appreciate it. Let's put you back in there. Another really cool Trapmaster. Just quickly, we have Kaboom. One thing I love about the Trapmasters is the Traptanium weapons. I think they are really cool, and I think this guy is also really cool. I mean, look at him. Threatening aura. And we also have, I think, my favourite Trapmaster is Shortcut. He's a short little guy, a cool little guy with a big pair of scissors. Now, this, I think, is the most creative Traptanium weapon out of the lot, really. You know, we've got a big gear, we've got fists, we've got hammers, we've got an axe, throwing stars, boomerang, whatever that's supposed to be. But this is the coolest, and what a cool little guy. I'm glad that I have him. That's draw number 3. Let's look through the senseis. So, draw number 3 is the senseis. Let's have a look through these guys. Some standout designs to me. We have Painata, which is a really, really cool figure. We have the ultimate villain of Skylanders, Chaos. which is the only Chaos element Skylander, didn't you know? And we have this guy right here, Hoodsicle. A lot of the figures that were released for for Imaginators were repurposed villains from Trap Team. As you can see, Blastertron, another favourite of mine, but obviously Hoodsicle, Golden Queen, Painata, Chaos were all playable villains in Trap Team, which I think is really cool that they actually brought them back in figure form, Wolfgang as well, and reworked the moveset. So this isn't my entire Sensei collection. I'm a little bit insane. So, wow! I put these two guys aside as the other crossover characters that aren't the Nintendo ones. Yeah, we've got Cash Banuka, Crash Bandicoot, and I am a huge Crash fan, as is my partner. So it's great that Crash is in Skylanders, and the fact that Crash is in Skylanders actually made it so I was able to convince my partner to play a bit of Skylanders Imaginators with me. She would only play as Crash Bandicoot, but it was a win, an absolute win. And we also have Dr. Neocortex, which, of course, is the villain from Crash Bandicoot, which, again, is very cool that these guys are in. Unlike the Nintendo crossover characters, these guys are not console exclusive, so you can use these guys on any platform, which I think is great. I personally prefer the Air, also known as the Wii U. Wii U. This is what financial irresponsibility looks like. The big three, the big three, the big three. The big three: Green Chompy Mage, Robo, and Wildstorm. These three Sensei figures are the three non-variant figures that every Skylanders collector wants in their collection. These are the big boys, and I have them. Yes, I have the Green Chompy Mage, I have Robo, and I have Wildstorm, and I'm glad that I do. I absolutely love Chompy Mage. I think he's one of the funniest characters in all of Skylanders, and I'm glad that he returned from Trap Team as a playable character, and I'm glad that I have his figure. How cool is this guy? And then Robo. As a Nottinghamshire man myself, I can appreciate the aesthetic that Robo has. Sort of gives me robotic Robin Hood vibes, and I think that's really cool. And then you've got the beast himself, Wildstorm. All three of these guys are really cool, and I'm glad that I have them in my collection.